Hi folks, this is video number 152 and the title is My Pony and Horse. I've been watching old Western movies from the 1930s and 40s. Those of you who can relate would know they all had at least one good life lesson. I personally think those of us who grew up in the 50s and 60s grew up during the best times of America. No one locked their doors, you could leave your keys in the car, and neighbors looked out for each other. Unfortunately, those days are long gone. Watching the Westerns, a couple of escapades concerning ponies came to mind. I worked as a maintenance planner in the Loves organization. My coordinator was my friend Jerry, whom I called out in the two stories about the brothers. I also worked with a guy named Gary. He too was a practical joker. I know little about Gary. One day he asked me if I'd like to buy a pony for the kids. I told him I'd consider it, but I'd have to check with Dad and see if I could keep it over here at the old homestead. Dad liked the idea. He thought maybe he could rig up a harness and train it to pull a cart. Gary told me the pony was not very old, so I figured what the heck. It would give Dad something to do too. I mentioned it to Jerry. He gave me a strange look. "What's wrong?" I asked. He replied, "You don't know what Gary does outside of work, do you?" Nope. Unlike Jerry, who hauled livestock to the auction barn, I learned that Gary hauled dead farm animals to the rendering plant. He was going to sell me a dead pony. That was the end of that transaction. They both got a good kick out of it. All of us were away from home one day for whatever reasons. I was the first to arrive home sometime in the afternoon on a nice summer day. I was just settling in a bit, and there was a knock on the front door. I opened the door and found three neighbor ladies on my porch. One was the local magistrate, and she was holding a clipboard. Outside the courtroom, the magistrate and I were on first-name basis, as she was a neighbor too. I said hello to the ladies, and being the magistrate was holding a clipboard, I figured they must be taking a survey or something. I asked, "Pat, what's up?" She said, "Don, we've been delegated to serve this petition. Since I'm the magistrate, I'm doing it to make it official." Now I was really confused. "What's the petition about? What's going on?" Pat said that everyone agrees that there is not enough room in the development for someone to have a horse. Every household in the development has signed a petition to stop you from harboring a horse. Wow! Then it hit me. I asked, "Where did this information come from?" It seems that while we were gone, a big red livestock truck pulled up in front of my house. A few of the neighborhood kids ran over to ask the driver what was in the truck. He told the kids that he had a horse for Mr. Byer. Since I wasn't home, he would stop back later. The kids ran home and told their parents that the Byers were getting a horse. That's all it took. In a couple hours, a petition was legally formatted and circulated to all the houses in the development. Pat got the honors to serve me with it. They thought I was being smart when I started to laugh. I then explained who owned the big red livestock truck, and he was just being a smartass by telling the kids he had a horse for me. The joke was on the whole development. The next morning at work, after reviewing the previous day's happenings and any immediate actions, etc., that needed to be done were planned for the day, I related my previous day's experience being served with a petition. I thought Jerry was going to choke. It was the best practical joke pulled in a long time. He pulled one on about 300 people all at once. Well, folks, that concludes my two little stories about a pony and a horse. As always, I wish everyone all the best.